If you've ever found yourself walking through a buzzing Taiwanese night market, you have definitely smelled it. That incredible, unmistakable sizzle of something savory and amazing hitting a hot griddle. Well, that is the smell of the one, the only, Taiwanese oyster omelet.
I mean, what a dish. It's this total masterpiece of textures and flavors. You get this crispy, golden brown outside, but then inside it's got this uniquely chewy texture. They call it Q in Taiwan, and it's a big deal. And all of that is built around these plump, fresh oysters. And then, of course, it's covered in this signature sweet and savory sauce. It is an absolute icon for sure.
But here's the thing. This isn't just another delicious street food. No, this is a piece of living history on a plate. This simple-looking omelet has a story that goes back more than 300 years, born from conflict and making a new home. So, let's get into it.
To really get the oyster omelet, we have to go way back to how it was created. And, believe it or not, there isn't just one neat and tidy story. There are actually two competing legends about how this dish even came to be.
So on one side, you have this dramatic tale of military survival, food invented right on the battlefield. And on the other, a much quieter story about immigrants just trying to recreate a little taste of home in a brand new land. Two totally different situations, right? But both end up with the same amazing dish.
Okay, so this first story, it's pretty epic. Picture this. It's the 1600s. The military hero Koxinga is trying to kick the Dutch out of Taiwan. But his army is in trouble. They're running out of food, especially rice. So out of sheer desperation, the soldiers get resourceful. They look around, and what do they see? Tons of fresh oysters and sweet potatoes for starch. They literally just mixed them together, fried them up, and boom, they created an emergency meal that helped them keep on fighting.
Now, the second story, which a lot of historians think is probably closer to the truth, is a little less action-packed, but just as meaningful. This one starts with immigrants coming over from Fujian province in China. See, they already had a dish that was pretty similar back home. When they got to Taiwan, rice was hard to come by, but the coast was full of oysters, so they adapted. They swapped out the grain for the local sweet potato starch and created a new version of their beloved comfort food.
So, we've got two different origin stories, right? A soldier's ration and an immigrant's comfort food. But what's so fascinating is that both of these stories point to the exact same core truth, something we can call the Golden Triangle.
Think about it. It doesn't matter if it was an army facing starvation or settlers dealing with scarcity, the solution they came up with was identical. They relied on this golden triangle of three key ingredients that were right there, ready to be turned into something incredible. And what are those three ingredients? Well, first you've got the local, savory oysters, packing all that flavor and protein. Then you have the sweet potato starch. This is the absolute key to that one-of-a-kind chewy texture, the perfect binder when grains were in short supply. And finally, the egg, which adds that richness and body. Just those three simple things are the heart and soul of this dish.
Okay, so let's fast forward to today. Knowing the history is one thing, but actually making a perfect oyster omelet, that's another story. And the secret to getting that signature chewy Q texture? Well, it's not some crazy, complicated culinary trick. It's actually way simpler than you'd think.
It really just boils down to two things: getting the batter right, that sweet potato starch mix, and having perfect control over the heat of your pan. If you can master those two things, you are well on your way to making a night market-level masterpiece.
Let's break it down a bit more. The fresh oysters, obviously, are the soul of the dish. They give you that burst of briny seafood flavor. The sweet potato starch is the non-negotiable part. It's what gives you that signature chewiness. You just can't substitute it. And then you have the egg and the greens, something like crown daisy or bok choy, which give it body, some nutrition, and a whole other layer of flavor.
The cooking itself is like a super fast three-act play. First, you lay the foundation. Give the oysters a quick stir-fry before you pour that starch batter all over them. Second, you shape and sear. Once that batter starts to set, you pour the egg on top and let the bottom get all crispy and golden. And finally, the flip and finish. Toss the greens on, flip the whole thing just once to cook them through, and that's it. You're done.
You know, when you put all of this together, the history, those specific ingredients, the fast-paced technique, you start to realize that you're experiencing something way deeper than just a quick bite to eat.
This dish really does tell the story of Taiwan itself. It's become a symbol of making something absolutely incredible out of whatever you have on hand. It represents the sheer resilience and clever adaptation of people who, whether they were facing a battle or just trying to build a new life, found a way to create not just food to survive, but real joy. There's this one quote that just says it all perfectly. Every time you take a bite, you're not just eating a delicious omelet. You're basically experiencing a mini theater of Taiwanese history, a little performance of survival and creativity that's been playing for over 300 years.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? The next time you sit down to eat, think about it. What story is hiding in your favorite dish? What other foods that we eat every day might be carrying their own secret history, just waiting for us to discover it?